Hello everybody, and welcome to another wonderful little grinding evening with Sirillim. So, camera will come back online in a hot minute. It's my late night hangout stream with you, and let's see. I want to do some high tier runs with this team, which goes basically into its last stretch before they're going to the retirement bench. So, okay, I think we have everything fired up now, and we're ready to go. So there's one thing that I meant to do, because I found it really fun. So I want to make one acid rain, and maybe we should upgrade it first. Hey, Joran, so happy to see you. So I don't know if this does work here, but we'll give it a try. Defense penetration, why not? So, and that goes onto the socket of my Djinn Evoker, right? Acid Rain, but it doesn't inherit any of the stats there. Okay, so whatever. Let's go and haunt some level 5Es. Acid Rain is a massively good spell because it's so valuable to just keep spamming it and spamming it and spamming it. My experiences. So, bounty is locked in. Let's go. Welcome back, Poet. So let's see how that works out. Ooh, permacast. The fun part here is that these things, if you have a staff artifact equipped, the spell slot triggers on cast. And since my team is basically permacasting, yeah, it just works out as I thought. Boy oh boy. And that's only 1/6 of the combo. There we go. Oh, he's killing himself right now. Paperboy, hey there. It's always so nice to have you guys around me. Meteor shower. Yeah, I wanted to start small here. Thanks, Joran. Because I knew that Acid Rain is, as a matter of fact, really a useful spell, so... It's actually a mimic! I think I had today what I personally would almost call a perfect Saturday. Everything was a little bit in a hurry, everything was a little bit stressful, but I basically did everything that I wanted to do, and yeah, it's a perfect jack of all trades day, so to speak. Even some streaming. Nice. So after this realm, let's see if we can fiddle in that meteor shower and see how it works. Barely notice the instability level 5 anymore. It's pretty spooky. Nice! So you've been on my side of the world today. Hope you didn't find it too depressing. Just kidding. We did our week shopping today as well. Made some pizza for lunch. self-made dough and all. Played some League with my wife, 3 games, and we got our noses bloodied, but whatever, had some fun still. Played a big excessive round of Soulstone Survivors today with my son. It's just a... And I was a few rounds out with my dog for a walk. Ah. So many resources, man. I didn't anticipate it, but CABALIST turned out to be one of my most powerful specializations that I ever unpacked. Yeah, I had a really good day today. I just didn't felt up to it, so a little bit stressed out about the amount of things. But in hindsight, it was pretty perfect. There we go. Be summoning candle. Yeah, so stable. Damage output has become so stable with only one of these gems. We're definitely gonna amp that up. So, the Maniacs. Yeah, they're just killing themselves. It's amazing. But they're gonna be resurrected. My team keeps casting even after everybody's dead. It's a clear giveaway. Hello, dear. Just not smoking on camera. Or vaping, for that matter. Okay, so we got these guys down. Oop-de-doo. I think I want to use the summoning candle a little bit. With such stable damage output, I might even do a little bit card farming on the side. Currently collecting the devils because they just give a flat damage output bonus. Found them to be very straightforward, very appealing. But I assume that they're just melting exactly like I thought. Just taking a little bit longer than I hoped. Actually hoping more for a I enter the battlefield and they instantaneously die moment, but I think I have a very high, very much lowered indirect damage trait on this realm, and it always shows. Shouldn't have played that in the first place. Lowered indirect damage is always quite wrecking. It really shows you how much of the damage of most of my teams is actually indirect damage. There we go. Molten to pieces. I love how easy to play the CABALIST is actually. It required such a low amount of tweaking, and it is shockingly robust. The other day I was fighting against Nebodar, the forgotten Force God. That's how the game calls him, Force God Dragon King thingy. And yeah, I actually thought I'd be losing, but I didn't. Because I won after God knows how many turns. Let's just say we both spent all of our resurrects. It's when fights get funky, when you have to start with we spent all of our resurrects. You've been playing Sirillim long enough, you know that this is the longest fights, when you suddenly can't resurrect anymore because it happened too often. This is a weird game. Never did I ever think that I would end up here again and having such fun again. But here we are. Yeah, it's probably not the most efficient way of card farming, so let's get out of here. At least go for a realm where I always explode them like that. I did take the master down, so yeah. So, I did a raid. Foraging, I'm supposed to do. Got it. So, let's check out that meteor shower. Shouldn't that be here? Yeah, there's a monster that restricts resurrection. Yeah. So there, it's a nature spill. There we go. Let's have some more fun with that, huh? So, yeah, let's try that. Oh, I love to hear that, Poet. So, I actually do plan to rework my info material for Sirillim as soon as the new update goes live. I'm just waiting for Zach to iron out the beta, because I hope that this will give the game a little bit more traction back, or at least I will see what I can do to give the game more traction back. Ooh. We need to melt them. Did have a very, very interesting Reddit conversation today, because I spotted people that were complaining about that YouTube nowadays has such awful amounts of advertisement on it, which I can agree on. It's pretty atrocious. Their verdict, though, was that we just should run more ad blockers. Where I took the moment to go into the conversation to say, yeah, it's cool if you all go ad blockers, but then us content creators, we don't earn any money anymore. Therefore, we don't do any content anymore. It's been very wild what kind of conversation ensued. I mean, I didn't know that I was never going to get any positives out of that. Just wanted to know how people think about just denying free content creators their money because they're pissed and they're just not willing to do, for example, the YouTube subscription like I do. Okay. Skin. So altogether, most of these folks were just rather ignorant about the fact that content creators either earn already enough money without the ad money, or they should get a real job instead. That's my favorite argument. Why don't you get a real job instead? I wish those people always a lot of fun with their movies and stuff that has been made by people not doing any real jobs. Sometimes this is really a wild circus. Anyways, I'm just rambling. Thought maybe somebody might be interested in my everyday musings. I have that weird passion to do arguments for the sake of the argument on Reddit. Just, I don't know. I think we all have our guilty pleasures. These guys don't die. End teams. Champions. Worst of them. A few days later. Whew, it's actually exploding. I thought I need to do something, but they gifted me a card for all of my efforts. Too kind. Wyverns. My creatures take less damage from spells. That's actually really good. Cards are so mighty. And we took that bonus by just having that card once. Nice. Mirelings. There's so many new creatures. Froggo monsters. Once I have all these implemented into my new teams, into my collection, I will make some sick new teams, I think. Here, Meteor Shower. I saw it triggering. It's gonna be very interesting once we face our first Nether boss or something like that. Anybody got another good spell up their sleeve that we could go for here? Which would be good at automatic cast? I shy back from resurrective things. I do that. I like to do that more manually because it's a precious good. It does reach those resurrection charges. You see. Look, Handle. Let's do this. I want my demon cards. Let's see. Yeah, no props. I mean, usually or recently I should rather say, I found a really good common ground for me to slow tweak my builds. Instead of trying to get everything perfect in the rough draft, going for a minimal effort, see how far that takes me, then go for the next logical step, go a few rounds with that, then go for the next logical step, and so on and so forth. That really felt good. Much better than all the team building that I did in the past. So I really feel like I made my process a little bit more digestive for my brain. Although it takes a lot longer this way. But since I want to grind out 100 realm quests with every specialization anyways for the title, you gotta bring those victories in somewhere, I guess. I really do appreciate that this game has truly the ARPG collectathon vibe that I'm missing ever since I opted out of Diablo and Path of Exile's craziness. This game has though the same feel with that crazy card collection, with those bajillion achievements and crazy things, and so many classes that you can play, and it gives me, oddly enough, the same. It scratches the same itch. This is what I really find surprising, because this is not an ARPG. But it does satisfy the same numbers goes up neurons in my brain somehow. And I must say, it's one of the most oddly compelling games that I featured on my channel that managed to draw so many people into it where I didn't expect it. It's very fascinating. Sirillim is really a interesting game. I think I will even do a little bit of a review thing for this game, because I have a new format for or a format idea for reviews. Yeah, nothing groundbreaking, just some new things for the algorithm. Because the problem is, I need to find things that please the algorithm and you folks. It's the hardest part. If I only need to please one of two parties, it's easy. Both of two parties, that's tough. That's true, Hjarn. That's true. You have a lot of creative freedom in deciding what you want to play. I haven't seen that on the first glance, but you're right. Now that you say it. Well, it is really overwhelming at first. It's one of the biggest downsides, and the questionable main storylines writing doesn't help either. I mean, I was lucky. I do like this stuff that he's writing. For some reason, he's exactly hitting my cringe, but I can get it that it's not everybody's taste. Yeah. Well, recently I had a rant to my wife, which I actually am also considering making a video about it. Basically is about the fact that it really flippin' bothers me that games nowadays are mainly made for their financial success and less about realizing something great that you just want to do because it's great. I've been binge watching a lot of the games from my childhood recently, you know, games that I've been seeing on the Amiga back then and C64. Wasting time either. And I've been watching these gameplays of games back then, which often had pretty crappy user interface things. Games like It Came From the Desert or Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Stuff like games that really had big trouble transporting the gameplay via the user interface, but boy were they dripping with atmosphere. Stuff that I'm missing nowadays massively. Games are so optimized for financial success. It really bothers me. But I mean, I can't really blame anybody for this kind of behavior. I mean, we all need to stay afloat, and I do a lot of things on my channel too that I personally find questionable, but I do it to please the almighty God algorithm, because otherwise I'd be earning even less money than I do. Hell Knights, they're great. I love Hell Knights. I also love coffee at 2 o'clock in the night. Grim Dawn. It's funny that you say it. It was exactly the game that came up on top of my mind as one good example that breaks the mold. Grim Dawn was exactly hitting the spots that I was complaining about. These guys also seem to be making things more because they want to make things and less about being the most successful thing on the market, because Grim Dawn is an indie production at the end of the day still. This Promethean Blaze. I think I have this guy here. This guy. Yes. He gets the Promethean Blaze. He'll autocast that and boost up his own intelligence, and the Pyromaniac will proc harder and harder off of that. This is a good one. I always try to have something that really does something for my team. And I think here we hit the spot. This should give me some smack for longer fights. Evoker is pretty cool, but I would not recommend it to anybody new to the game, because the magic system is very micromanagement heavy, and get into the whole bunch of controls of the game first. My personal opinion. I mean, I can't anybody tell how to play their game, but it's my personal takeaway of all the things that I've been through while I was playing this. So there we go. Yeah, Grim Dawn is a real amazing game too. I heard they are doing a new expansion, right? Yeah, autocasts are pretty good, yeah. This CABALIST here is the very first setup where I do have manual casting pretty much as a must-have. It's pretty enjoyable, actually. I mixed it with 2 creatures that do automatically damage. The first guy that I got deals damage per ethereal spell gem if he provokes, so that is one nice passive damage dealer to blast away the weaklings. And when I don't stream, I like to go for Instability 0 farming runs, which just consist out of pressing provoke once, if ever. Grim Dawn is still alive and kicking, yeah. Like I said, as far as I know, they're releasing this year even a new expansion. I have some vague memory of something crawling through the ether about that. Might be wrong about that though. There's so much stuff happening. Doom Devil card! Now I'm left with all the Doom Devils that I summoned. Too bad. Typical. Yeah, Grim Dawn is a real gem. It's also a wonderful game that I love a lot because of the fact that it is made in a way that you can actually complete it. It's one of the very, very few ARPGs that are coded in a way that you can actually reach maximum level, actually gear out your character in a time that is not going to make you take ill life decisions. I really appreciate that. Star Pact. I gotta look it up, or you could tell me what it does. I can't remember that name, as a matter of fact. That respect for time on Grim Dawn is really one of its strongest aspects. I mean, you can really grind it a ton, but eventually you will have achieved everything on one character, and then you can decide if you want to take another character or call it a day, which is really, really good. I really like that, because this forever game thing, like we have it here in Siralim, too many games try too hard to be forever playable. This is one of the things that I really realized in the last couple of years. It's really great to have something which is actually completed eventually. It's okay to expand on it via DLC and such from time to time, sure. But yeah. Massive holy damage plus 10% for each buff. Sweetie sweet. Star Pact. Yeah. I hope I can remember that. But I think... Oh yeah, we can't go back home anyways. So I don't need to. Sounds like a yellow spell. Yeah, I always remember when I think about Grim Dawn that it has so many lore bits which I found massively unsettling to read, and I really don't like to remember what I've read there until this very day. And that's what I call a good job. Seriously, this is pretty dope. It's very good. It's grade A horror writing. These guys that make these lore bits, they could sell novels. I hope they do. Okay, so let's see. Gems sealed after casting. Not quite my cup of tea. Oh yeah, I meant to do something here on the anointment side too. How can you... Ugh. So... Do I need to... Ah, here. So we can take out that echo. And I meant to get myself... Was it? I think it was an Inquisitor one. No. Where was it? Or was it a Windrunner one? Yes. Retention. This one. Because I find this is such a massive thing. If your stats don't go down after resurrecting, and I have a lot of defense boosting things in my build, this is really a big thing. No, 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 no. Yes? This is actually looking quite okay. There we go. So, currently having a lot of fun with Force God hunting. Great. Thanks. Weird. There we go. It's looking quite okay. I mean, that the enemies take a moment to die, I think it's totally okay, considering that we're playing on highest difficulty level. I mean, look at all that loot. Okay. But yeah, I really have a big problem nowadays when new games come out, that I find them quickly very over-marketed, where you can totally notice that people want to squeeze out just another bunch of dollars out of an established franchise by bringing out another sequel of the prequel. It's annoying. I mean, currently, Frostpunk 2 is for me a wonderful example of going down the gutter like this. It's a shame to see that. This game is basically, I don't know why they called it Frostpunk 2. Basically, it's a completely different game. It's okay in what it does, but it raised entirely false expectations with the people. Here are the Euro skins and outfits. Oh, don't get me started on stuff like that. I want to see how these guys go for the next Force God with that setup. I mean, I've beaten Force Gods on Instab 5 with a worse setup already, so it should work now better, I guess. Anointment hunting is a real big fun part for me. Yeah, wonderful summary, Tenryu. On point. On point. That's a big problem, by the way, that I have with all the Dark Souls games. Yes, great games in all respects, but you guys are really not developing yourselves any further anymore. When I was playing Elden Ring and I saw dungeons being repeated, I put the game away because I felt pretty much like, this is a joke to you guys. Like, why do you even create an open world if you don't want to fill it with really handcrafted stuff from beginning to the end? I mean, you guys are the greatest in this department. How can this happen to you? I know that I'm a little bit judgmental about this, but I don't know. It's it bothered me really a lot, and I was worried about if that was not the beginning of the enshittification of the entire franchise there. You know? I'm not sure. I'm not too much into this try-hard genre either, because it's really not respecting my time enough to really get into it, which is a shame. I love the world building and the setup and all, but why you don't accept BG3 as a sequel? Wonderful statement, man. Why haven't you popped up before? You seem to vibe with me. BG3 is a wonderful game, but it has nothing to do with Baldur's Gate anymore. Don't get me wrong, I love what Larian made there, but it's a different game. Huh? you there, you chill, all right? Weird. I had to block a bot here. Oh my god, even Dark Souls fans agree with me. It's a shame. I was playing Dark Souls 3 a lot until I noticed that I just don't have the time budget for that. Then a friend of mine gifted me a copy of Elden Ring, and I had some fun with it until I realized that. I said, yeah, in BG3 you totally notice the Larian handwriting. It has lost its old developers, and that's okay. They did a great job though in creating something there. I really love that. Although I really miss the time where classic RPGs were less glamour, less multi-choice branching adventure romance dating sim, and more about juicy turn-based combat, a good story, looting, shooting, and getting some cool story. And I mean, BG3 managed to do all of these things at once, but for me it's a little bit much all at once. I don't get to play it because it has a time window which I just can't squeeze it in with a full-time job like mine, even if I am full-time into gaming, you know. Maybe one day when I have a big fat holiday I might be getting into it. At least that's what I hope for. Or I do it like I did with Baldur's Gate 2, complete it after the DLC is out, which was exactly what I did with Baldur's Gate 2. I completed it only after Throne of Baal went out, which was a pretty weird and lackluster expansion, but I enjoyed it nevertheless. Yeah, I played through recently Wizardry 6, Bane of the Cosmic Forge, which was one game that accompanied me through my entire childhood. My dad was cursing at that game and hating it, and still playing it like hell. And he made it up until the very end. I wanted to do so as well, and I managed to. The point here of that whole story is that Wizardry 6 is a game that has been made around the edge of the 90s, and when I was done with it, I had the urge to roll up another team of characters and play it again, because the whole combat system and the development into the end game was so much fun that I just didn't want to stop with it and get it done another time. A game made 1990 with really terrible graphics. Really terrible graphics. Also, quite frankly, a little bit racist on the side. Anyways, that shocked me that this held up still until this very day. I really didn't expect the game to age that well, but yeah, good mechanics. They really matter a ton. To me, at least. Maybe I'm just weird like that, but I don't know. So, pilgrimage. Yes, I'm ready to get murdered by any French people hearing that. That's totally fine. I deserve it. Okay, so I think we're ready to go. Wizardry 6, a very old title from Surtech. Wizardry 6, Bane of the Cosmic Forge. It's been a trilogy from Surtech. There was also Crusaders of the Dark Savant, that was the part 7, and I forgot how 8 was subtitled, but I love all 3 of the games. Although I heard that the prequels even were supposed to be even better than these. I read somewhere between the lines that Surtech actually took a successful franchise and killed it. So I need to do my retro research about that. Yeah, it's tough as nails. To get into Wizardry is pretty hard because it's a very challenging game. It's If you don't use all strategical layers that are available to you, you'll get slaughtered eventually because the enemies are really, really brutal. You need to use buffs and debuffs and various strategical elements. And the wonderful thing is, if you use them, the game opens up and gets a lot more playable. If you don't, you just get moshed. It's very, 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 very rewarding. It's I found it extremely funny because while I was playing it, I felt like, yeah, this is basically like turn-based Dark Souls. You know, it's stupidly hard, but once you get into the rules and the odd tidings of it, it becomes fulfilling, and before you know it, you can't get enough of it. This is basically the same kind of recipe that all the Souls-likes followed. It's pretty amazing. Game was made 1990. After your creatures receive a debuff, blah 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 blah. If I ever play with dumplings. You do you, Tenryu. There's a couple of Japanese game makers that took up the old franchise, but they recently turned it into a gacha nightmare hell called Wizardry Variant Daphne. Ugh. It's so on the nose. I wanted to like it. I gave it a fair try, but it's unbearable. It's disgusting. Sorry. I'm done now. Tenryu, hey there. You prefer Twitch? Well, I like to offer both channels. And luckily I can manage both chats at once. Loot, loot, loot. I really hope that we're going to find that master soon. Wait to get it live. Find a false god finally in front of me. You looking good, like Bard Master. Wonderful. That's what I've been looking for. Yeah, this team is already really powerful. We might one day take them up to do the Gate of the Gods thingies. Proving Grounds. Yeah, I wanted to try that, but it's so epic costly. It's on my wish list. Am I dying? It's a problem with all those Japanese games. They all are super costly because Japan is just such a effing costly market. There's almost no games below 40 euros coming from there. I mean, I do understand how it comes together. It's just economy, but it really sucks that you sometimes have to pay really, really high prices for games that, I don't want to sound mean here, but quality-wise, I get comparable things for 20 bucks here if it's made in Europe or America or wherever comparable to that. Japan really got a little bit of problem in that regard. The pricing of their products is insane outside of their land. Yeah, I mean, if you love classic dungeon crawlers, you are really in a pickle nowadays, because there's almost no good games coming out. They're basically all nowadays either not really challenging. That's, for example, the problem that I had with the Emberland thingies. Don't know, Chronicles of Emberland it was called. Little indie production that was also a really nice homage to Might and Magic. And yeah, pretty nice, but very shallow. It tickled my fancy for a while, but it was just too grindy and easy after a while. Nintendo-based prices, yeah. Exactly. Nothing has changed in that regard. Go away. Oh, these bots nowadays, they even circumvent blocking them. Just ignore that, dude. Don't have the time right now. Yeah, no decent sales ever. That's Nippon Ichi Games in a nutshell. It's the makers of the Disgaea series, for example. They also have a lot of amazing JRPGs in their roster as a publisher as well. But boy, oh boy, is it costly. I love the games they publish, but man, feels really like a sin to buy them. So, cleared the level, but haven't found the dude that I need to rescue. This is the guy, right? Oh, I need to rescue him. Legend of Grimrock, yeah. I didn't like Grimrock for being so puzzle-centric, but that was my biggest gripe with it. Beyond that, amazing gameplay feels. Was the game that took me closest to the Eye of the Beholder vibes that I had as a child. Eye of the Beholder was also a very, very unique gameplay that never really came back. Also Dungeon Master. Man, I miss Dungeon Master. That was one hell of a game series. Also on a very, very harsh difficulty setting that was so fun once you got behind the specific rules and things. Vaporum I never played. I only remember that I had it on my list of games that I wanted to try out. My wife gifted me a few years ago a pretty nice cyberpunk-esque dungeon crawler. Forgot the name though. Was very much like spin-off of Cyberpunk, basically. Shadowrun. Problem was just that it didn't hold up in the late game and it fell apart in the late game, and the game was nearly unplayable in the late game, and yeah. Sucks. Happens to many games though. This looks good. Yeah, with puzzles sometimes I don't mind them. Sometimes they just annoy the hell out of me. Especially if my progress is locked behind me being stupid. you see. And then I'm forced to either look into a walkthrough, which makes me feel even more stupid, or I keep banging my head against the wall and I just don't manage to get it done. Or I do, and I feel like a genius. Sometimes. I don't know. I personally think that I've learned over the course of the time that I am a player. I like to be challenged mainly strategically and socially, but not so much with logical puzzles. I've never been a big fan of these. But it is what it is. It's hard to make something that pleases everybody. Yeah, the problem that I've seen is that so far Japan seems to be the last country in the world that does have a industry that develops classic old school dungeon crawlers still. The rest of the world seems to have pretty much forgotten about the genre, it feels sometimes. And yeah, it's where we are at right now. I think it will receive a renaissance sooner or later, simply because sooner or later we all will be old farts And when we are old farts, we can't play that shiny bam bam games anymore. But do you know what we have when we're old farts? Shiny fat wallets, and they want to get into our wallets, and then they will program games that were like back in the day. I bet that this will happen in 10 to 20 years in the future from here, because they want to get us, you know. It's what I expect to do. You also enjoyed the combat more in puzzles in Grimrock, yeah. Grimrock was a great game. It's a shame that they didn't do more in that regard, seriously. Hey, Dreadbull. Yeah, in Japan you see those classic blobbers, like I've seen the term, where you have to control a entire party of adventurers that does the job. It's exactly what I like. Manga Weeb, what's this game about? You set up a team of 6 monsters, tweak and mod the hell out of them, and then you go and kill monsters in a endlessly more difficult becoming dungeon crawl where it all devolves into a massive collectathon for favor between different factions and better gear and knowledge cards, whatever. Basically, a ton of different JRPG tropes are being covered here. Because as far as I think, the developer is himself a very, very massive JRPG fan. I think that was actually quite fast and nailing review about the game. These creature master fights, they are always very, very odd. Either you instantaneously blow them to smithereens, or you stand in front of them, they do some weird stuff, and all of a sudden all my rebirth charges on my team get blown up because I get a party wipe instantaneously that I don't understand why it's happening, but luckily everybody's reviving and we're wiping them afterwards. But it's happening so often when I play against creature masters. And for some reason I have become the one of the very few content creators for this game, it seems. But well, one day I can say I was here finding it cool way before anybody else found it cool. Except for you fine folks, but you know what I mean. Never had a game that I covered before it was great, widely appreciated. But I would really, really be happy for Zach if he one day would make it. Guy pouring his lifeblood into this project since I don't know how many years. There's Sirillim 1, 2, and 3 before Sirillim Ultimate was happening, so I don't even know how much development time this thing by now has. Surely a decade and more, counting. If a decade is even enough, I doubt it actually. Yuma Hersman, hello there. So, I played Sirillim 3 before I got here a lot, but I found it then too clunky to continue and dropped it because it had some gameplay mechanics that were pretty grating. You had much more effort to make a creature summonable back then. But The basic gameplay loop was already the same and excellent as this game already. Sirillim Ultimate's biggest takeaway is making the game more polished than ever. It's basically the synergy of all its predecessors. I think a couple of mechanics are not in this one though, that were present in previous games. I feel like this is the best of Sirillim, yeah. You'd be a very, very hardcore fan of the series if you'd had the urge to go into the older titles again, I'd say. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. This is just the product of the same developer being more experienced and, you know. I found Siralim Ultimate, if you are into this kind of game, to be extremely fulfilling. Especially since it doesn't have the same nasty edges that I had. It does have at some point though a little bit of an end of the line when you've just overgrinded it. Guy gives me RoboCop vibes, you know? The end of the movie. The evil robot that the good robot is killing. I don't know why, but I think about this guy. Alright. Grats. Cards are always good. Yeah, busy with other games, I know what you're saying. I mean, I'm basically overworked in that regard for the next 5 years. There's the next week coming a lot of updates for games that I will feature. I'd love to try out Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. I've read so many good things and I wanted to try out if it's just pretentious BS or it's actually a good game. I have the Microsoft subscription thingy, so I can't play it without buying it, but I just don't have the time. I've installed it already, but tomorrow's Mother's Day. I want to cherish my wife tomorrow a little bit, so also no time for that. But she already promised that I will have some time for streaming, so you will see me tomorrow as well. Well, I don't know the term of game addiction. I find that so extremely negative. I'm always a little bit surprised that so many people like to describe good games as being addictive. I find that a little bit weird because, you know, addiction is actually no fun. When you're addicted to something, it's actually to that point where you're doing it only mechanically anymore and not enjoying it anymore. So I don't know. I don't agree with that either. I feel like this is just a figure of speech that has snuck into our everyday language so much because we're used to gaming being looked at negatively. Expedition 33's, yeah, I saw it, and for me as an old school gamer, I really liked the aesthetics, which is finally away from the endless Japanese tropes. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a big anime fan, and right now I'm reading through the entire anime of Yu-Gi-Oh! With my 7-year-old, so I'm not against that, but I just find it very, very appealing to see something that takes the formula but takes it into our cultural horizon. I really like that. Getting hooked, yeah. Sorry, that's just for getting into detail like that. I just found that a thing to be that's just catching my eye every time when I see it. When people are describing games as being so addictive. Is that really good? Do we really want that? Exactly, Jorn. Exactly. There are toxic, addictive programming concepts that I really don't like. Blizzard, for example, loves to implement these by now. Many mobile games have this crap implemented as well. Sirillim build videos? yes, I do plan on doing something. I don't know how I will wire it up, but I want to do a sort of a format where I explain in 10 to 20 minutes how a spec works and introduce the team that I roll with it, so people can pick it up, play it if they want to, and understand otherwise how the thing works. Just need to find a format to wire it up, because I feel like this game has more than enough long-term players that it's paying off to make that kind of stuff, because I see you guys are hungry, and I feel like I just need to develop the right format so the algorithm does say okay to it too. Because that's been basically what I've been doing the last 3 or 4 years, studying the stupid YouTube algorithm and learning how to call up my videos that it's actually appearing in the search engine so people can find my stuff too. It's quite frustrating. I don't like the advertisement speech that we're using nowadays, but here we are. I still struggle making my daily living off of my job, so I have to sell pro OP mega super strong secret strategy. Sorry, I hate it. Okay, you heard it here on my stream that I hate this myself, but if I don't do it, I just get denied of my visibility. So, our pick time favorite. So runes, I don't want that. Oh yeah. Yeah, Hyarin, you see I'm picking up the Siege Master traits here bit by bit. I think No Weak Links is probably the one that I'm going to take. This is a pretty nice one. Maybe I'll find something better. Nah, let's pick it up. Maybe I don't build it that fast because it's only triggering at the beginning of the fight, but yeah. Thanks, Weeb. Age of Wonders 4 is also one of my... the games that I just feel like I might be even the main source. Yeah, it's just... the only thing that annoys me from time to time is just how much you must do to just have a normal living off of the YouTube/streaming work. I feel like people often underestimate how much view time you need to rack up that you actually can live off of the advertisement income. I think people are often thinking that the numbers are much, much lower than they actually are. But that's okay. It's normal, I'd say. I find myself in a very, very lucky position because I am doing something as my job which deeply motivates me and keeps me feeling fulfilled with what I do. And that, I think, is one of the most valuable things in life. Having a job that that ticks these boxes. But it would be still okay to also be able to live decently off of it. Oh, whatever. Just moaning because the trade war is hitting me too hard. Yeah, exactly. This defense trait is so powerful, but it's you only have 5 anointments, and I am not sure if I can really give it a slot, but it's been definitely the most interesting of the anointments to pick from. It's crazy how these guys are blasting through the dungeon. CABALIST is such an easy mastery. I really am amazed about how straightforward and powerful this thing is. I mean, it did take down Instability 5 even before I did most of my tweaking. It was just much slower. But due to the fact that you get a massive amount of damage reduction for every ethereal gem on your creatures, you're really hard to kill from the get-go if you just have a build that generates a couple of ethereal gems at the beginning of a fight. And I'm not nearly using the full potential here. I have so many spell slots still open on my creatures, which I haven't filled up, which would make the team even more powerful. But, you know, I don't like to fill slots just to fill the slots. It's giving me a woozy feeling. I don't like that. Has to be something synergistic, and if I'm looking for all the slots to be synergistic, I'm crazy. So, Mimic Mastery. Realm of the Deified Bacon Pile. It's one of the most interesting ways to put it. All right. The mimics are pretty hard to. Oh no, they're going down like nothing. Yuma, what you can do though is check out which monster the trait is originating from. Go to the divination candle, kill it there often enough until you have the S knowledge, and then you can go on an assassination mission, which will drop the trait material guaranteed. Not assassination mission, assassination project. But the creature needs to be on S knowledge for that. But if you really want the material, I'd go that way. And you don't need to rely on RNG anymore. You just need to have the monster, I think, on a C knowledge rating to have it summonable on the candle. That will fix your problem. Unless it's an exotic trait, then things are really complicated. Yikes. Ugh, yeah, right. Backer trait. I was afraid that it was not as easy as that. You don't seem to be the person that's not coming up with these solutions themselves. Very sorry for that. Yeah, then it's just... I feel like we need a source of these items still. Some deterministic source that is a lot of grind, but yeah. But I don't know. According to what I see here in the beta, a lot of critters that were introduced by backers will be released with a new version. If we are lucky, this might be including the things that you are looking for. Because the Wikipedia surely doesn't reflect the current state of affairs on the beta currently. So, let's summon some devils. You know that you're going well when you're starting to do card farming on Instab 5 runs. Usually I don't do that, because it's taking a lot longer than normal, but we are blasting through these guys so fast. I can't actually allow myself to do so. Yeah, it would be amazing, wouldn't it? But thing is, I've seen the community and the dev of the game being very receptive to such things, and trying his best to make things available. I mean, within the beta version, we can now summon any exotic for free, basically, for some resource that you can grind. But you're no longer needing to find all the exotics. You can handpick the one and just buy it if you really want to, which I really find a good step forward. I just would like it to be a little bit less easy to access them all. Currently it feels a little bit like, yeah, that diminishes my feeling of my sense of achievement when I see an exotic portal. That's the only thing that really bothers me. Alright, fair. Stardust is a fair argument, Mo. Yeah, I find this is one of his smartest moves to make the story mode optional, because I personally um, enjoyed myself playing it once. But if I ever want to do another account, for whatever reason that might be the case, I would also play it without story, because it's actually not really giving much to the game. And that is not really a burn towards the story, because I think this game is really not needing much story. Yeah, I hear you, Yuma. I hear you. Ah, well, let's go once. So, you know what I want to do now? One little instab 0 run. Just to clear up my feelings about how easy we can kill things here. So, there we go. Yeah, the Royal mode I want to try out too. I feel like extra game modes that give you an incentive to play the game in a completely different way are really, really vital for this game. I also would think that it would be pretty cool if this game would inherit a mechanic that I know from idle and incremental games a lot, namely challenge modes, where you basically, you know, the arena is already one of these challenge modes where you do the drafting. You basically lose access to all of your big things and you draft a new team and whatnot. I would find it quite amusing if there would be more little challenges. I would even go for something like a different game in the game where you start out anew internally and grind out bonuses that you will take for your main game, so to speak. I don't know. I feel like there's a couple of things you could still do, but the biggest problem that still remains is that this game does need more challenges that are similar to the Gate of the Gods. The Gate of the Gods is currently one of the best parts of the game, basically, because it's quite nutty how hard the fights there are, and in a good way. It's testing your strategical skills in every possible direction, and that's very, very nice. The only thing I dislike is that it's a little bit limited in terms of rewards and such, but I would like more challenges like these for the game. Nothing wrong with the endless grind deeper and deeper, but eventually the monster levels become more and more irrelevant. So yeah, I also came here because I wanted to do some divination candle farming. I don't know, whenever I have descended a couple of like 10 levels or such, I like to take a little bit of a break and go for some sweet farming here in between. Card farming is one of my favorite chill out sports here. And I didn't properly say hello to Pikachu, I'm sorry. Didn't even realize somebody else has a purple name too. Oh, it's so late. I don't want to go. I don't want to turn off the stream. I don't want to go to bed. Oh. You know those feelings? I'm such a night person. It's amazing. Sometimes I just don't want the night to end. Go. This is a really, really nice team. I think I'm going to keep these as something to play later down the road again. I don't like all specializations the same. Some of them I'm actually happy once I'm done with them, but maybe that's also because I didn't build the team right yet. Yeah, the goblet I did do a lot with that too. Has also some good loot, yeah. Paperboy, also a night person. Ooh, a nether stone. A quite useless one at that. Although I gotta say, Demon's Judgment on attack is pretty sick. Demon's Judgment is a spell that lowers the enemy's stats and gives you stats back. I think this one on a team that does rely on multi-attacking could be pretty right. Quick top 5 favorite specializations. I definitely need to put up Pyromancer there, because Pyromancer is one of the most efficient ways of just blasting teams and farming. You get such a good turn 0 nuke with the Pyromancer, and it also has so many cool interactions with the burning condition, which makes up a solid late game build too. Siege Master, Blood Mage, Pyromancer. Yeah, also some Pyromancer fan. Cleric is also a class that I love because you can deal damage by healing. How cool is that? I gotta say, this is just amazing. Windmaster is really powerful. Windmaster is crazy and really a lot of fun to play. Then let me think. I did enjoy the Inquisitor / Paladin because I don't know, I see them as the two sides of the same medal basically. Did enjoy that a lot too. And 5 you wanted. Well, the 5th I need to look into the list. I don't get one off of the top of my mind. The Animator I haven't tried out yet. Siege Master is, after everything I've read about it, also very nice. Because, I mean, dealing damage by being absolutely unkillable is a very fun and powerful concept, I'd say. Ahmed, I dare. Oh boy, it's so late in the night and you're so numerous around me. Didn't expect to have so many viewers on Sirillim. This game draws so many people up time and time again. It's fascinating. Whenever I turn this game up, I feel like, whoever wants to watch this. Keep being surprised how many people are interested in this game. Yeah, I still have to try out those specs that give you one specific monster you have to work around with. I basically avoided them completely so far. For whatever reason that is. Can't even tell you. Come on, die! Nice. But they're still not dropping any cards. How rude. But at least we can now go to the wardrobe and find out what my 5th favorite spec is. But yeah, I am forging constantly new keys for the Godforge. So, Astrologer was quite fun, but I never made it really work. Evoker was okay, but I didn't like it too much. Warden, yeah, Warden was also very fun. Not so powerful, but very fun. The fact that you evolve, that you thrive around buffing like crazy was a very fun thing to play. Okay. RNGesus sent me to the same realm twice. The bomb class. Oh yeah, they're pretty cool too. I think they were the engineers. This one was really a blast to play too, pun intended. I vaguely remember that I made a video about these when they were new. Can remember vaguely that. This was also a very powerful build because bombs revolve around the speed stat, and therefore your team will have a very, very high speed stat. It's pretty nice. What could be counted as mid-game? Realm 200 to 300. Once you are past 500, you are really deep in the late game. But it's really hard to tell. But 200 to 300, you haven't even unlocked all of the... I think you're still looking for the last couple of unlocks. So, let's see how the next Nether boss will go. Yeah, big thanks to White Bat Audio. Karl Casey made that, and his music is free for all. It's one of very few free music content creators, and also happens to make really good music. That's the best about it. Doesn't free music is good for an odd if it's crap. Yeah, main story being the tutorial, I agree on this sentiment. It's basically like that. It's a very long, extended tutorial, but you're really only learning the ropes there. Well, Mo, I was lately considering if I can find a playlist of all the background musics of Sirillim Ultimate and let that run in the background while I'm playing. That might be also a pretty cool concept, because the soundtrack does shift way too often while you're playing. Every fight does reset the background music, and that becomes really obnoxious after a while for me personally. Man, sick. This is pretty amazing. Yeah, exactly, something like that, Mo. I'd be down for that. The constant resets of the music don't really fit them well. Because the music in this game isn't really bad or anything like that. As with many parts of the game, you notice that whoever made it really loved the game and wanted to make a good soundtrack. Oh yeah, casino games. I've been frankly quite shocked when I saw what people actually are streaming legally nowadays. Okay. So many different cool bosses here. Oh well, let's go into the provoke and see how that works. There we have the meteor showers. With a few recasts. So let's go for a Demon's Judgment. Let's steal their stats. They're melting so fast after that. Cabalist build recasts the spells so obscenely often. Interesting. They rebirth, huh? So, since when is that the case? There's the Star Pacts. They're also hammering in hard. And the enemy will be resurrected. More resurrects, no? Okay. Glossy Orb. Stone on damage, curse on damage. No Sanctuary. I would need to look up what that does, but at least we found another stone. Don't want to complain. Wow. I keep being very, very surprised about how powerful these guys are. Yeah, the conditions on it are pretty good, aren't they? Stone and Curse are pretty strong statuses, I thought. Amit, let me check. I think it was... Oh boy, where did I do that? This one. Jamie! Ooh, Taint Great Conquest. That's really a long way go. Appreciate. Yeah, my pleasure. I really love to do what I do. It's one of the loot list's options, the strict one. My pleasure, guys. My pleasure. Tenryu, Matchless Kung Fu. Well, the game is not capable of posing a challenge to itself, and that is my big problem with it. Everything in the game is pretty cool and everything, but you break it so quickly. Like when you just start out making a proper character and start playing the system properly, it just falls apart too fast. It's my big problem, and that remained since version 1.0. I mean, it's one of the typical problems with many of the cultivation games. But yeah, as much as I like what they do there, they have an amazing combat system going. It's very unique, but I don't know. It's lacking some substantial challenge for me. It's been my biggest problem with it, because I had little to no incentive to come back to the game after a while. Even though I do like what they do there, I feel like there's a fundamental flaw in the gameplay feedback loop, so to speak, because it grows very quickly very old to only bring up new tiles which have a strict quest behind it. Maybe I didn't play it long enough, but I don't know. I wasn't able to get into it deeper without growing bored eventually, and maybe me, I don't know. I also had a very, very hard time with the English localization. Reading the texts was, even after they modernized the localization, still feeling at very many parts to me very hard to understand what's actually happening there and what's it supposed to mean. It's also been a very big problem for me. Sadly, because I would love to love the game. I really like what they do there. like I said, especially the combat system is really something special. But it's a general problem that I see with many Chinese game devs, that they still struggle to get the dopamine rush properly integrated into the games, so to speak. But I think this is a phase that they will get past. These guys are learning fast, and the games that come from China are getting better and better. Sultan's game was one of my favorite entries of the list, and Amazing Cultivation Simulator 2. Despite all its arcane and occult secrets, it's a very, very well-working game with only a few bugs that bother me until this very day. But, well, yeah. That's that. Yeah, I mean, Matchless Kung Fu is supposed to have a main story, but due to the localization issues, I did not ever get into it. Kenshi, yeah, well, I tried to get into the game. My big problem with Kenshi is a very simple one. It has been already too old when I tried to get into it, and now I'm standing in front of it, and I feel like it's just, I don't know. I didn't enjoy myself when I tried it out, and I said to myself, let's go for part 2 when it comes out. Because Kenshi 2 was already announced. Esoteric, yeah, exactly. Mind your feng shui, or your feng shui will blow your heart out of your ribcage. And I'm not even over-exaggerating. UI in Kenshi is not great, yeah. Gotta say, Kenshi is already ass old, though. And I forgive the devs for being a little bit clunky on that end. But it was a very genre-defining game. Many people speak very, very fondly of it. And, yeah. It's just about me not being there around there. Monster Breeder? No. I do have a copy of it, but I didn't manage to get into it. Ah, yeah, I can provoke realm trade. Alright, it's past 3, my friends. I need to go to bed. I would love to stay. You're such good company, and I'm enjoying my time. I'll be back tomorrow, when the sun is rising again. Until then, have a wonderful day. Thanks for the good time. We will try out another spec next time when I'm firing up Sirillim, because I think I'll be done